Okay, so this is the movie for how to assemble your drawing. Um, One of the hard things to deal with is scaling in Inventor and Mesh Mixer and Makerware. They don't really talk very well as far as scaling does. So most of our scaling is going to get done in Inventor. If you remember, we made a basketball that was 28.5 inches in diameter. Well, one, that was a mistake, because that 28.5 isn't really that number was incorrect. It wasn't a diameter, it was a circumference of the basketball. So the circumference of the basketball should actually be 9.23. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to New, Standard IPT, and this will be quick. Create 2D sketch. We're going to make a circle. Draw it. Any dimension. Then we're going to dimension it. And we're going to make it a diameter of 9.23. Now, 9.23 is a good thing because that's the actual size. The problem is going to be is that when we bring one into the other, they're not going to talk because we have a 9.23 diameter basketball and a body, that's only 5 inches tall. So we've got to be able to scale that when we bring it in. So I'm coming through here and you see I'm making my basketball. I'm going to go to Finish 2D Sketch. I'm going to go to Revolve. Zooming out here. Okay, choose your object. Choose your axis. It's thinking there. Say OK. And we're going to save this as basketball 3 or whatever. Save as. Save copy as. Skip out of here. I think it was here we were, right? I think it was back here. Oh, it still has an STL. I was playing with some other stuff earlier. So we're going to call this Basketball 7 since I've had quite a few different versions of this down the road here. So click Save. Yes, I wish to continue. And we're good. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to scale this and make it, and it went up with Basketball 8, you'll see. But we're going to go to Derive, and we're going to open up. Actually, we have to cancel this. So I have to close this. Save it, no, new, standard IPT, Derive, and it wants to know what to open. So we're going to go, let's see, imported, and it's in here, Basketball 7. And what it wants to do is it wants to scale it on the bottom. And so the scaling can be tricky. So here's how we did the scaling, or I did the scaling. Abby is roughly 40 inches tall when she's in her crouch and holding the basketball. You know, we kind of measured her. And we're shrinking her down to 5 inches tall. Well, if you take 40 and divide it by 5 inches, you're going to get like 0.125. So our scale factor is going to be 0.125, which is going to make the basketball smaller. You'd have to take whatever you did. If you were 6 feet tall, you would take 60 inches and you would divide it by, I don't know, maybe 5 inches or 4 inches or 4.5, or however high you decided to make your body to hopefully make the basketball correct. Then go put it in your hands, see if it fit right, and you might want to play with that scale factor and try it again, because it's not an exact science. I mean, it's close, but it's not perfect. So we'll say OK. Then we're going to go and we're going to save this again. Save copy as. I'm going to name this Basketball 8, and we'll say delete. So we'll say save. Do I wish to continue? Yes. Yes. We'll X out of this. Okay, so we should now have a basketball that is going to be correctly sized when we bring it into an IAM, which is what we're going to do next. You'll probably see me pause in and out here a lot because this is very labor intensive, very resource intensive once we start making parts in Inventor, especially when we bring your body in. So we're going to go to place, and I'm going to choose the body first just because we'll get it out of the way. So I think we're on, let's see, 3 Abby bodies, I think where we're at right now. So we're going to bring her in, which you'll see this will take a second. I'm going to pause in and pause out. Okay, so that only took a minute or so, but you see here we are. I've said it before in other videos, but make really careful that zooming in and out it just locks the whole thing up, and then you got to wait for it to come back. So be really careful. So I'm going to rotate this around so it's in a decent orientation, and I'm going to zoom out 1 click, and hopefully that didn't do enough to make it go kablooey, which it looks alright. If you do it like 3 or 4 different mouse ball rolls, you'll see it'll just freeze right up, which it may even be doing right now. So we're going to go to place, and we're going to bring the other objects. You know, I'm going to, just for the heck of it, bring in Basketball 7, which if you remember is the correct size. See how big that is? That is clearly not the basketball that we want. So now we're going to go to place, and we'll choose Basketball 8, which we derived and changed the scaling of. I'm going to put it near my hands. going to go to place. I'm going to grab Abby's base that we used to make her. Let's see, so Abby base, we'll bring that in and click that into place. So that's good. And then I'm going to free rotate just this piece and get it in the general orientation of where we want it to be, so it makes it a little easier. Because you'll see when we mate her feet to the base, it's going to go a little also kablooey. So we're going to go to Constrain and choose Mate, which is the default choice there. I'm trying to rotate here, which is it's really enjoying and kind of freezing up on us. And I'm going to choose Mate on the bottom of her foot. I'm going to hit pause and come in and come out. Okay, so we're back. So all I did was rotate this around so we can see the bottom of her foot. And again, I tried to do that without you just because you have to see it. You don't want to watch it freeze up again. I'm going to click in one more zoom, which again is scary, and get one of these triangles, hopefully one that is, you know, relatively parallel and straight. So I'm going to click on that one, and again, it'll freeze up. I'll be right back until it clicks in. Okay, so you see we're zoomed in now. I'm going to hit apply, which it's doing, and then I'm going to hit one of these zoom tools here, so it'll zoom into a you know, an orientation. It makes it a little easier to zoom. Clicking in and out just makes it go crazy sometimes. So we're going to rotate this around. Now we're going to try to zoom out a little, really slowly, and you'll see the feet are in line with that. We just have to move the body now. So click on the body and just kind of pull it to where you want it to go. Hopefully. I don't think we're frozen. We're not. It's not really just pulling very well. I don't know why. There it goes. The other thing that's a good idea is to fix the base in place because it's constrained, and as you move the body, it's moving it also. So I'm going to go to the base, and I'm going to right-click on it, hopefully, and then find Fix or Grounded, or I forget what they used to be called. Grounded. And that'll keep the base from moving, and so now I can just pull the body where we want it to go and try to center it on top of that base, which is pretty decent. Another good idea is you want to make sure that your objects are like melded together. And right now our feet are just sitting directly on top of the base. So I'm going to drop her feet into the base a little bit. So I'm going to go to the base and I'm going to go to Edit Feature, I think is what we need. Maybe just Edit. No, I don't want to edit that. Sorry, I'm going to go to Abby's body. I should have Edit Feature. I'm sorry. We have to open her up, go to the mate, right click on it. And we want to edit that mate. And you see the offset right now is 0. I'm going to drop it down 0.05 and just make sure that it went up and not down because see it went up. So we're going to change that to negative 0.05, which will drop her feet into the base a little bit. Maybe even go to 0.1. Yeah, 0.1. I think that looks just a little bit better. We really want to make sure they're pretty well joined together. Say OK. Then I'm going to go and I'm going to grab the basketball and I'm going to move that to where it belongs. Best I can here from this orientation. Okay, so we got a touch in that hand. I'm going to bring it up. And again, you really don't want it. You want to make sure you would rather lose some fingers, lose some adhesion there than have it not touching, because when it prints, it's just going to fall to the ground, which you certainly don't want. So look, she lost her thumb and her finger there. Nobody will notice. It's such a small thing. And it's just kind of driven into her wrist a little bit, and see her fingers are off. And yeah, you'd love to see it a little bit better, but I mean, this is more bang for your buck. So you want that to be the orientation. So that's essentially it. We're good with this. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to Save As, Save Copy As, and we are going to change this to a .stl. See, I have one from before. I'm going to save over it, and I'm going to name it Abby Print because that's what we're going to use to print. And then we're going to click Save, and yeah, I'm going to replace it. Should also save this assembly just in case we ever needed to make changes to it. So I'll do that in a second too after it's done thinking. And you know what? I'll do both of those things without you and I'll come back. So okay, so we're back. I save copied as, so it's saved. So we are going to go to Makerware now. And we're going to bring in our object. So here's my abbyprint.stl. I'm going to drag this in and just make sure that everything went great, because there have been times where certain objects didn't come in, because, and I think you'll see that in the next video when we start talking about bringing in objects that you did not homemade, that were not homemade. And I should undo that. because I should have. Oh, it doesn't matter, I guess. So we're going to select the object, and I should have said keep. I should have said move to platform, and I said keep position. It's not that big a deal. I'm just going to go to this and go on platform, which will kick it up. And now we have to raise the size of it. So I'm going to go through here, and I'm going to click 5, since that's how tall we want it to be. And then I'm going to click inches to millimeters, and so that will make it 5 inches tall. So you see it came out, the ball's on there, the base is on there, and later on in this series you're going to see when we bring in the head and we orient everything perfectly, but I'm going to hold off on that for right now. I just wanted to do this so that you could see what happened. We still got to get this flat on the table here. So in the next video you'll see where we bring in other objects and from the web and put my body and my desk and all of those things together. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, come on up and ask.